We actually have a group here in France called Republicans in France that support Donald Trump. What's at stake at this election? This is the most critical election in our lifetime. Conservative most of my adult life. But I tell you, after living in France, you tend to even go a little more right. But there's a lot of socialist programs here in France. You know, there's so much dependent on the state, such high taxes, that we start to see what it's really like, and it's very, very frustrating. Those of us who, you know, working and seeing much of our tax money removed.
I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
But what we're also kind of bothered by is all these citizens who just go along whenever they hear about somebody from the state say something. They treat it as a high priest, and they say, okay, we must all wear these silly masks like we have been right now. This is the big dream of Europe for America: become like a European country where you're taken care of from birth to the tomb. But what did Americans do say in 1776? We're not children, we're adults. And the Republican Party, especially now for the past 4 years, has been the party of adults and not of kids, you know, who need to be babied around by their nannies all the time. We don't want nannies.
We have a lot of foes. I think the European Union is a foe, what they do to us in trade. Now, you wouldn't think of the European Union, but they're a foe.
Are there tensions between the United States and Europe? Of course there is, because it's like tough love in a family. You know, he stands up to them. Giant globalist organizations like the United Nations, like the World Health Organization, European Union, and deciding the number of immigrants that are allowed to come into your country. You know, there's a lot of French that are against this. You know, but it's tough for them to speak out.
I told them today the EU, the European Union, better be very careful, because immigration is taking over Europe, and they better be very, very careful. And I said that loud and clear.
The
yes.
influx is a little bit high, and it's a little bit cruel to have people come here when they don't really have the means to welcome them in a civilized fashion. I live in a socialist city in the suburbs of Paris, where they converted what was a hotel into a refugee location, and the people live in very squalor conditions.
He's one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims.
Well, Trump has proved that he's anything but a racist. I know that that's what the left likes to accuse people of as soon as you disagree on policies. But he's done everything to prove that he's anything but a racist, between prison reform, opportunity zones, high employment for the black population in the United States.
What is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
We're fine with him coming from behind, you know, and giving this impression that he's behind. It'll be a shock to the world on November 3rd.